Hello everyone, welcome. So it seems like there's going to be lots of retro handhelds coming out pretty soon, so that's great news for gamers. Now I've covered the Anbernic RG552, the Powkiddy X18S, and also the Odin handheld on my channel, so make sure to go and check those videos out. Now, one handheld that's going to be coming out soon is the Retroid Pocket 3. Udon has posted a photo of the box of the Retroid Pocket 3, and I'm going to assume that he has the handheld already. So it's not going to be long until we find out more about this new device. So for this video, I tried to find out as much information about the Retroid Pocket 3 as I could. And to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. So I think they did a good job keeping the details secret. Now, this is a bit of a disclaimer, but there is speculation in this video. And because the handheld is going to be coming out in the next few weeks, this video could become obsolete in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm just putting that out there. But I did want to make this video anyway, because I know there are going to be people who want to buy a retro handheld now. The Odin handheld is on sale at the moment, and also the Powkiddy X18S is going to be on sale soon. So this video hopefully lets them compare the Retroid Pocket 3 to those other handhelds. So in this video, we're going to cover the form factor, we're going to talk about the possible performance of the device, and also talk about the possible price of the Retroid Pocket 3. Okay, so if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And we have a Discord server, so come along and join us there, and I'll leave a link in the description below. So a few days ago, Udon posted a photo of the Retroid Pocket 3, and so we definitely know it's coming soon. Now, there were rumors that it was going to come in October, so it looks like it's roughly on schedule to those rumors. Now, shortly afterwards, Dodo did an article about the Retroid Pocket 3 on the photo that Udon posted, but he also included a lot of other things about the device, so make sure to go and check that article out as well. Now, as you see, there are some preliminary drawings there of the Retroid Pocket 3. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the form factor of the device and the dimensions of it and how it compares to the previous Retroid Pocket 2. Now, the Retroid Pocket 3 drawings don't have dimensions on them, but what we can do is we can scale from the D-pad, and usually they use the same D-pad over different generations of devices, and so the D-pad is usually about the same size anyways on most handhelds. Now, this is the Retroid Pocket 2. It's 153 millimeters across and 81 millimeters up and down, and the D-pad is 22.7 millimeters, and the same size as the Anbernic RG552 as well. So roughly all of these D-pads are about the same size. And we can use the D-pad to scale it to the Retroid Pocket 3 drawings. So if we do that, then the dimensions of the Retroid Pocket 3 is 205 millimeters across and about 88 millimeters in height. So this is actually pretty close to the Nintendo Switch Lite, as you can see there. I don't know, it might be a little bit hard there for you to see, but the Nintendo Switch Lite is 208 millimeters across and 91 millimeters up and down. The screen is also 116 millimeters in length and 66 millimeters in height. So this gives a screen aspect ratio of 1.75, or close enough to about a 16:9 screen aspect ratio. This also means that the screen size is 5.2 inches. Now, this is an overlay of the Retroid Pocket 2 to the Retroid Pocket 3, and as you can see, it doesn't change so much in the height of the device, rather the length of the device is actually a bit longer. So let's talk about the Retroid Pocket 2 versus the Pocket 3 screen. So as you can see there, the black rectangle there is the Retroid Pocket 2 screen that I've overlaid onto the Retroid Pocket 3, and that's 73 millimeters by 58.2 millimeters. If you zoom out that 4:3 aspect ratio to fit it completely vertically, you'll get 83 millimeters by 65 millimeters. And so I think you actually don't get that much increase if you're just playing 4:3 games here. And where you'll see the most increases when you play the 16:9 games. Now, to put this in another way, if you're playing 4:3 games on the Retroid Pocket 3 and you're coming from the Retroid Pocket 2, then the Retroid Pocket 3 will be about 127% of the screen size of the Retroid Pocket 2. Now, just as a bit of a disclaimer, these are pretty early drawings here, and we don't even know if these are going to be the final actual drawings of the device. So it could very well change with the final design. As you can see there, they have the start and select buttons at the top of the device, which is a little bit weird. I would have them above the D-pad and also the face buttons. And as well as that, they have the start and select around the opposite way. So they have the start on the left and the select on the right. So I think, who knows if this is actually a correct drawing. It may be a bit of a red herring here. So I think, just take these drawings with a grain of salt. Now let's talk about the possible performance of the Retroid Pocket 3. This is an article from Android Authority. This is just a general Mediatek chip guide of all of the Mediatek chips that came out this year. Now, in terms of the Retroid Pocket 3, what we saw with the previous generation of handhelds last time was that they could sort of do Dreamcast and sort of do PSP, but not really that well. So my guess is that with this level of handhelds, they probably want to fix that issue, and they do want to make sure that Dreamcast and PSP play really well, and in some cases, GameCube games might even play as well. So I think that's the level of performance that they're going for. One rumor came from Norbright. Now, this is just an estimate. I don't think he has inside information. Otherwise, he wouldn't phrase it the way he has phrased it. But he's made a good guesstimate of what the Retroid Pocket 3 processor might be like. So he says it's 5 times more powerful than the Retroid Pocket 2. It's still Mediatek. It's not P series. It's not Dimensity series. All these point to a G70. Now, in terms of G series, the G is like this mid-tier sort of budget category after the Dimensity chips, but stronger than the P series, which came out a little bit earlier. So it says here from the article, the Mediatek Helio G series is the newest family of processors in the chip designer's portfolio, focusing on gaming and general performance on a budget. So if we look at the Mediatek Helio G70, this has 2 Cortex A75 and 6 Cortex A55. Now, the interesting thing here is that this is exactly the same chip that is in the Powkiddy X18S. So I think this rumor from Norbright is pretty close to the mark of what type of performance we're likely getting, and it's going to be somewhere in that realm of performance. As you can see in the bottom of this article here, it says that Helio G70 has found its way into the sub $130 Realme C3. Now, I don't think that the Retroid Pocket 3 is going to be $130 because there's economies of scale for the mobile phone, but there's potential for this chip to be in some sort of like $150, $160, $70 device. So just to give you an idea of what the G70 is going to be like and what the Retroid Pocket 3 is compared to other handhelds that are currently going to be coming out, the Miu P60 is going to be using a Helio P60. Now this has 4 Cortex A73 and 4 Cortex A53. It says here that the Mediatek's P60 and P70 are older and a little less capable than the Helio P65 in many ways, launching in 2018. So I think this is sort of like in a little bit of a class below that. Now this is the Odin Lite, so this is going to be a little bit stronger than your Retroid Pocket 3. So this is going to be using the Mediatek Dimensity 900. So this has 2 Cortex A78 and 6 Cortex A55. The A78 is going to be at 2.4 gigahertz. So I think the Retroid Pocket 3 is going to be somewhere around 2 gigahertz. So this is going to be a little bit stronger than that. So with the Retroid Pocket 3, obviously the all-important question is what kind of games you're going to be able to play or what systems you can play. I think you're going to be able to do Nintendo 64, DS, PSP, and Dreamcast really well, whereas the previous generation of handhelds, you weren't able to do so. And obviously, as you saw, this is going to fit between the Miu P60 and the Odin Lite. So it's possibly going to do Nintendo GameCube. I think 3DS is probably out of reach actually, because the emulator performance isn't that great. And it might even do Wii because GameCube and Wii run on the same emulator, Dolphin. So I think it's going to be able to do some Wii games. All right, finally, the pricing, and obviously this is all speculative at the moment. I have no idea about the pricing, and pricing could change at any time. But let's start from the bottom here. So the Odin Lite, this has the Dimensity 900 chipset. So this is running at about $165 for the super secret early bird that they had. I think at the moment it's about $175 now, and possibly at retail it'll be about $200. Now the Powkiddy X18S, they've already revealed the pricing. It's going to be $170. So I think with that, You get a slightly lower chipset with the Unisoc T618, which by the way is the same as the Helios G70 or close enough in terms of the CPU performance to the Retroid Pocket 3. So I think the Retroid Pocket 3 and the Powkiddy X18S are pretty much on the same level here. Now the Anbernic RG552, that looks like, according to rumors, is going to be using the Rockchip 3399. And if it's going to be using that, then I would guess that it's going to be a little bit lower than the Retroid Pocket 3 in terms of pricing. The Miyu P60, I think with the Helio P60 is going to be lower than, say, the Retroid Pocket 3 G70 or the Unisoc T618. So I think it's going to be in a lower price than those other handhelds. So I think it's aiming for like around about $130 there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that one, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.